on WMUN 92.5 FM, 1340 AM, and the Gainbridge Ball State Cardinals Sports Network. Welcome to This Week in Ball State Sports, highlighting the Cardinal teams, administration, alumni, and community. Now here's the voice of the Cardinals, your host, Mick Tidrow.
Welcome into This Week in Ball State Sports, into the Thursday morning here from Muncie, Indiana on WMUN. And we've also joined in on the Zoom room this week for the very first time on This Week in Ball State Sports. Great show lined up for you today. We'll have Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell join us here in a few moments. And then Ava Molina from the gymnastics program right after the NCAA Regionals will also join us from the Zoom room. So exciting conversations across the board, and there's a lot going on. So if you check out ballstatesports.com, you'll be able to find out everything you need to know. Well, Steve Lindell just a few minutes ago teased it on the men's volleyball side. That's what we'll talk about with Jeff Mitchell first, about how that season's coming to a close, and then what the MIVA tournament looks like as well. So we'll start there and bring in Jeff. Appreciate your time as always, Jeff, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for being here.
And it's been a pretty crazy time of the year, and we're looking at the circumstance of men's volleyball coming right down the wire. Last two games of the season today, and then on Saturday, both are home matches. So pretty exciting way to finish the year.
Well, it's great to be at home in Worthen to play these final two matches, big matches, a lot of excitement around our team right now, and the opportunity to compete for a conference championship. You mix that in, and it makes for some electric volleyball, so we're really excited about it.
It does, and when you look at what the last two matches mean for this team, there's a chance to win the regular season. That's on the table for sure. A chance to host the MIVA tournament, and in an 8-team field, you want to be that first team in the standings, because if you are the first team after the first round, you host the semifinals and the championship as well. So this week is pretty paramount to try and get the 1 seed going into that tournament.
Yeah, and I think our team is built for it. Certainly understand the ramifications of the week, and they've been playing at a high level all season long, and certainly I believe are prepared to play tonight and then again on Saturday. And we're positioned, I think, to be dangerous as we go into the MIVA tournament as well, regardless of what happens in the next couple of days, just based on the breadth of our schedule, the strength of our team, and just the opportunity that they have in front of them. And they're really excited to be in this position and certainly to play at home.
What's one of my favorite parts about this season for men's volleyball is Mike Iandolo, first year, leading this program to 20-plus wins already in his first season, only 3 losses on the schedule. You took the interim tag off of Coach Iandolo. How vital has he been to this program this year?
Well, I think he's been vital to the program for the past several years as an assistant, and I think that was what was appealing to me, was to continue that level of continuity with him guiding our team this year. He's a really great tactician of the game, and I think that he deserves a lot of credit for the level of success that we've enjoyed over the last few years, and it's certainly been on full display this season. He's got a great staff, and the guys really enjoy playing volleyball the Ball State way. I went to a couple of practices this week, and it is energetic. It is intense. They're working on every facet of the game that they can, and are having a good time doing it, and that's a good position to be in as we go into the final week of the regular season.
Jeff, we talked about it. Ava Molina is going to join us here in a few moments from the Zoom room on This Week in Ball State Sports, talking about her experience at the NCAA Regionals. 5 individuals competed in Lexington. Pretty special for those 5.
Yeah, again, anytime you can put yourself in a situation to compete on the national stage, you're doing something really well. And Ava, I'm glad she'll be joining us this morning. What a brilliant athlete she is, and to emerge on the college stage so quickly as dominant as she has been is pretty special for her. So it's a neat opportunity for her to enjoy that national spotlight.
I know the team wanted to make it as a whole group, but to have 5 go, I think speaks volumes to where Joanna Salim and this program have been, to where they have the respect in the national landscape to be able to put 5 athletes in a regional like that.
And certainly in the past several years, the team qualified for that postseason opportunity twice in the last few years with some individuals sprinkled in there. But this year to have 5 is really special, very remarkable, and yes, a testament to Coach Salim, her staff, the caliber of student athlete that we can attract here to Ball State, and the level of development that Coach Salim and her staff are able to work into our program. And I think the student athletes enjoy it. I think they improve year over year, and it results in opportunities to represent the university on the national stage, and I'm really proud of those 5.
Jeff, we'll have more to come with you here in a few moments. We'll talk men's basketball and the transfer portal, women's basketball and the transfer portal. That's next here on WMUN and This Week in Ball State Sports.
Behind every strong hip and knee. Behind every strong shoulder.
Good catch.
Behind every strong team is our highly skilled team of experts in orthopedics. IU Health is the official healthcare and sports medicine provider of Ball State Athletics, and we're here to keep you moving. From acute injuries to chronic pain and conditions, go where the athletes go. Walk-in appointments for new injuries are available Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can always schedule a same-day or next-day appointment and wait from the comfort of your home. Visit iuhealth.org/MuncieOrtho to learn more.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
We're back inside This Week in Ball State Sports, WMUN, here on a Thursday morning. Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell rejoins us here live in Studio B from the Wolf Boom campus, as Steve Lindell likes to say. Have to use the Steve Lindell verbiage. It's in the contract, by the way. Thank you, Steve. Jeff, thank you for joining us again. Portal's open for basketball season. Opened up a couple of days ago with a first-year head coach in the process on the men's basketball side. What is that like for a first-year head coach to dive into this a couple weeks after he was just hired? We'll talk with Coach about that, but from your perspective, what have you seen?
Well, I checked in on him yesterday, and he had been in Indianapolis. He had some engagements in the city, which he had committed to prior to accepting our job, and then once he accepted those invitations, extended or expanded, and so he had the opportunity to represent Ball State in Indianapolis. He went back to Dallas for just a second to see his family over the Easter weekend, and then is now back in Muncie and hitting the ground running, as you say, in the transfer portal. When I checked on him yesterday, he was telling me all the virtual interviews that he's lined up, right, to talk to prospective students and their families, and it's organized, that they know exactly what they're going after in terms of what they need to get out of the portal, and the staff is competitive, they're ready to go, and there's a lot of energy downstairs in that office.
I can imagine.
I just checked in, that I got that rundown. It was dizzying, and so I just left and let them to it.
There's a point in which you say, I've done what I can, I'm going to let the coaches coach and let the coaches recruit.
Exactly.
From a women's basketball landscape, a couple players went to the portal for that team, but we know what Brady Sally and his staff have been able to do year over year within the transfer portal. How excited are you for him and that group to build those pieces that they need to fill?
Well, I think they're focused on doing exactly that, is analyzing what they have returning and complementing that talent. And there's a lot of talent that's returning. Coach Selly, his staff, very excited about that talent that's returning. And now we have the opportunity to complement it. And so they've attacked the portal just as they have in the past few years. It's different every year. The craziness is real. You're dealing not only with the student athletes and parents, but you're also dealing with agents now. And it's just a little bit more complex. It's a little bit more earnest in how you're having conversations with prospective student athletes. But the good fortune about Coach Selly on the women's side, Coach Capco on the men's side is, they've been in these battles before for talent and understand their programs, what they want to develop as a culture, what they have developed as a culture in terms of Coach Selly and his tenure here, and very clear about the objectives that they have for their programs. So, and I think that resonates with our student athletes as we are recruiting, resonates with the student athletes who are going to continue to stay here in Muncie, which we appreciate and which I think is more valuable than anything to help them continue to progress towards a degree. But I think we'll emerge from this transfer portal in a really good spot, no different than we have the past couple of years when we're talking about women's basketball.
Ball State Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Jeff, there's been some conversation about potential changes to the landscape of college athletics, and I know that we'll dive into that much deeper when things become official, but it's kind of a whirlwind right now, and you hear things that might pop up that could happen as soon as this academic year, but where is your headspace with the potential of 5 years for one athlete, all this other stuff going on?
If this hadn't been the case for the past several years, Mick, as we've been talking about it, I would be maybe a little rattled or a little stunned right now. The fact of the matter is it's just another wave of either ideas or another wave of complexity of how we put all the pieces of this puzzle together. And we've got an executive order from the Office of the President. We've got this notion yesterday from leaked intel that the NCAA may be adopting a new 5-year model to play 5 years, which isn't novel. It's been contemplated. It does align with the executive order out of the White House. We're monitoring that. I've got emails back and forth from the conference office, outside counsel for the conference office, our general counsel's office on campus, our government relations office on campus, meetings with the president already about all of these things. And so we're monitoring it as well as we possibly can. We've got a head coaches meeting on Wednesday of next week. We'll try to synthesize it and summarize it as best we can. And it's clear as mud, as the expression goes. And we just have to continue to monitor it, to assess it, to understand the landscape as it evolves. And we're just in a dynamic and a disruptive phase in intercollegiate athletics, quite frankly, in higher education. And we're just going to keep moving forward and control what we can, which, as you know, has always been about doing what's in the best interest of Ball State. And if we keep that as our central path, we're going to be just fine. But we still have a lot of work to do.
And then once you have all the conversations taken care of with General Counsel and the Office of the President, we'll have you regurgitate it right here to tell everybody what else is happening across the board. It's interesting just because those conversations have been had before in terms of how to do it. It just feels like when it becomes public information in some respect, it happens pretty quickly for everybody else to digest.
Well, it
but
does.
There's a lot happening behind closed doors, obviously.
That's correct. And then, today with our social media activity and just the volume of attention that we receive from the national media, from local media, it sometimes further complicates what we're trying to do, and the narratives can get out of control. And so our job is to not overreact and not begin to speculate or go too far down a path about what the future is going to look like. And we have to be very measured and careful about what we're doing. And so when you've got an executive order, when you've got the continued understanding of what's coming out of the House settlement, now when you've got the proposal coming out of the NCAA about a dynamic shift in what eligibility rules look like, it's a lot at one time. And, there's already these narratives that are happening, saying, well, it's going to mean this or it's going to mean that. And it's going to impact different sports in different ways. And we have to figure out what it all looks like and answer these questions. And I want to do it in a thoughtful way. And so that's why we've already got all these experts, including the experts that work in my office, to figured this out, and so that we can guide our coaches in the right way so they can block out all the noise that they see in social media and operate in the best way to represent Ball State.
That's a lot.
Yes.
That's a lot for you and the administrative staff on the athletic side. I think the big thing is, too, the university has such a massive involvement as well for every school that's a part of this. President Mearns is very in tune with what's happening on that landscape as well, but it feels like each university also has to be very involved. It's not just the athletic department. I think that's one thing that might get lost in some of this, is that the university as a whole has to be in agreement with the departments across campus, don't they?
Well, yes, absolutely. And there's also the idea that the universities in particular leagues have to be locking arms with each other as well. Because, we are only as good as our neighbor when it comes to the future of the Mid-American Conference as well. And so, I give a lot of credit to Commissioner Steinbrecher and his staff and just the involvement that they have within the broader governing structure of the NCAA and the evolution of our enterprise, because they are the ones that are offering a broader perspective from a conference standpoint and how we should engage and behave going forward. And so the 12 members of the institution, the 12 members of the conference, as we go into this next academic and athletic calendar, have to be in lockstep too, and I think we are. We have athletic directors meeting coming up here later this month, and then we'll be together for spring meetings in late May, and there'll be no shortage of agenda items.
You might have to stay an extra couple of days this year.
That's right.
With everything that's going on. Ball State Director of Athletic Director Jeff Mitchell joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Jeff, always appreciate your time. Thanks for breaking down what you know about the situation, and we'll definitely talk more about that and much more coming up next week.
Thank you, Mick. Go Cards.
That's Ball State Director of Athletic Jeff Mitchell joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports. Ava Molina is next here on This Week in Ball State Sports.
At Kroger, you never compromise. You get high quality and low prices. Like you never compromise your meal with our spring salad mix, guaranteed fresh. And you never compromise your budget with lower prices on over 1,000 items. And you never compromise your appetite with our golden brown bread that's baked fresh in store. And you never compromise your wallet with our lower prices. Hand it to Kroger shoppers. You never compromise. Kroger. Fresh for everyone.
Behind every strong hip and knee. Behind every strong shoulder.
Good catch.
Behind every strong team is our highly skilled team of experts in orthopedics. IU Health is the official healthcare and sports medicine provider of Ball State Athletics, and we're here to keep you moving. From acute injuries to chronic pain and conditions, go where the athletes go. Walk-in appointments for new injuries are available Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you can always schedule a same-day or next-day appointment and wait from the comfort of your home. Visit iuhealth.org/MuncieOrtho to learn more.
And we're back inside This Week in Ball State Sports here from the Wolf Boom Radio Studio B studios in the Zoom room as well. Thank you to Director of Athletics Jeff Mitchell for joining us here this morning. And next up, we have Ava Molina from the gymnastics squad, fresh off the NCAA regionals. Ava, really appreciate your time for joining us, and hopefully everything went well down in Lexington.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Of course. What was your experience like in Lexington?
Lexington was so much fun. Regionals is such, and just being part of like the NCAA postseason tournament is such a cool opportunity and experience that is not guaranteed every year, as with a lot of sports. And so being able to just kind of make the most of that moment and be surrounded by the people I love and who support me was just really incredible. I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio, so I was lucky to have a lot of family and friends kind of show up at that meet too. And so it was just it was cool to have a meet that had a lot that went into even being able to be on the floor, have such a positive result with so many people that I care about being around to kind of see it happen with their own eyes.
That has to be pretty special for you to be able to be a part of something like that with everything coming together. When did you find out that support system is going to be in place?
So I knew that Lexington was one of the regional locations for, that for the entire season. nothing is set in stone about A, qualifying to regionals, or B, which location you're going to be competing at until the week, or I think the Monday after conference championships. And so I did not know that that's where I was going to compete until like 2 weeks ago. And then after that, I was kind of talking to my mom, and I was just like, okay, we're going here. This is one of the closest meets other than competing at Ball State, which is super fortunate for me too, to be so close to home. I'm competing here. But I was like, how can we kind of capitalize on this opportunity?
You mentioned the selection show and being named into the Lexington Regional. You were there with 4 other teammates as well. How special was it to be in that selection showroom, watching with your teammates, and then ultimately all 5 of you being announced?
That was probably one of the most fulfilling moments of my career. Um, it's really hard to qualify as an individual. It takes, as it is to qualify as a team too. It takes consistency throughout the entire year. And I think it just made me so proud to have so many of my friends that I know work so hard and are so committed to the sport and the ups and downs and the process, be able to experience that type of success. Because like I said, like this is, you get to collegiate gymnastics, and going to regionals is, it's not guaranteed. It's a really cool once in a lifetime type of experience. And so to really be able to share that, especially with some of the seniors on our team, like talk about like the victory lap of your career. I just think that's so cool.
You mentioned the seniors, and I think it would be remiss if we didn't talk about that group, what they've done for Ball State gymnastics. How
Yeah,
special is that group for you?
that group, you can't really put it into words. I mean, I came in and that was the class right above me, and they're people that you lean on both in terms of like leadership and guidance, but they're also your best friends. And that group has, it's been a process. They've had ups and downs too, setbacks, successes, everything in between. And I think what's so special is the tenacity that that group has. Like they this senior class refuses to give up.
Hmm.
They will not give up. It might be hard, it might not be fun, it might be frustrating, scary, and they refuse to give up. And I mean, how cool is that, and how lucky is that that I get to learn from that group of people and be able to shape my career and my mindset off of them. And oh, by the way, they get to experience this huge success too.
Ball State Gymnastics member and NCAA participant Ava Molina joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports in the Zoom Room. Ava, this is a pretty historic group that's gone through Ball State University in gymnastics, the championships, the regional appearances by so many different athletes on this squad. For you personally this season, how would you say you grew the most as a gymnast?
That is a good question. Um, I think I grew the most this season in terms of being a leader for others. I think I'll pride myself on my leadership capabilities, but stepping into an upperclassman role and having not only a freshman class below me, but a freshman and sophomore class below me, um, it forces you to be a leader. It forces you to be a role model. It forces you to kind of be there for the people that are learning the way that it works and everything. And I have always said that being able to be a role model for others is like one of the greatest joys of my life that athletics has given to me. And I always find so much more like fuel and like reason to keep going when I know that there's people that are looking up to me. And that brings so much joy to me, and it genuinely makes it easier to commit to the process and get through the hard days and everything. And so I think being able to fully embrace that leadership role and embrace the support from the senior class above me and both the sophomore and freshman class below me kind of helped propel me forward to experience some of the success that I was lucky enough to have this year too.
When you first walked out there at the NCAA regionals, how did you take the time to let it soak in? Because that's such a massive moment for a career.
Yes. So the day before, we were able to do like a walkthrough on the arena just to kind of see like where the locker room is, where the events are, what the lighting looks like, and everything like that. And when I walked down on the floor, I looked up at the huge like big screen, and it had NCAA championship, whatever the other words were. Um, but I just think being able to look up at the big screen from the competition floor and like kind of look around at the stands and everything, it was an I made it moment. Um, because a lot of work has gone into being at that meet and participating in it. Um, and so that was the first I made it moment. And then again, when they announced people at the beginning of the meet, you walked out and there were these two like I don't know what they were actually called, so I'm gonna call it the wrong thing. These two like firecracker thingies that you walked by and then you like waved to the crowd. And it was like a cool production almost, I guess. Um, and just seeing all the people that were there, obviously to support their respective teams, but then looking to the Ball State section, it was just as full, if not more. And that was so cool. Like there are that many people to support me and my four teammates. And like that's that was one of the most like fulfilling moments of the weekend.
Ava, since we're in the description business on radio, you say firecracker thingies. I need, let's have the visual. What are we talking about here? How can we visualize this?
So definitely firecracker is probably the wrong word, but there was like right in front of the floor, there were these two like stand things, and then as you walked out, it was like little sparks like flew up from the firecracker things. Well, I don't know what they're called, and so I'm so sorry about that.
No,
But
it's okay.
it
I'm
was
putting you on
just
the spot.
cool.
No, that's awesome. How would you say, Ava, that this year helps you just build for what next year can be for you personally?
I think that this year is a testament that to the fact that anything is possible if you're willing to put your all in effort. Um, there's as with everyone on my team, there's been ups and downs and setbacks in my personal collegiate career too. And I think being able to take those and instead of just laying in the setback, being able to build off of it and work with it and kind of keep pushing myself to reach what I believe is my full potential um, is a skill that needs to be practiced and perfected. And I think this year was just more steps towards um, to reaching that skill. Again, with the leadership that I think I've continued to grow on this year, I think that will be a huge step into next year. Overall confidence. There's a lot of really positive things that came out of this year that I'm happy that I'm able to recognize. And even more so than that, recognize that those skills that I've learned this year are not where they can be. And so there's still more room to grow. And how cool is that, you know?
Ava, before we let you go here, any summer plans before the fall comes back up and you're right back into the swing of things?
You know, not much. I obviously summer training. And then other than that, just I'm an exercise science major, so I'm gonna do some observation hours this summer. And yeah, spend some time with my family. I haven't seen them in a while just since we've been traveling all semester. Um, and yeah, a chill summer reset and, you know, get ready for this next year.
Observation hours, what does that entail?
So I am trying to go to graduate school for physical therapy after I finished undergrad. And so just observing physical therapists, seeing their day to day, even occupational therapists, physician's assistants, just kind of seeing what's all out there to prepare myself for life after college athletics and kind of set myself up best for post undergrad success.
Well, Ava, we really can't thank you enough for joining us here on This Week in Ball State Sports, and just we're all excited to see what the senior year holds for you. Appreciate your time. Enjoy the hours in the summer and some time off and some recovery. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you too.
That's Ava Molina from Ball State Gymnastics joining us here live on This Week in Ball State Sports in the Zoom room. Thank you to Ava and Jeff Mitchell for joining us here this week. We'll be right back next week, 9 to 9:30 on Thursday morning. You've been tuned in to This Week in Ball State Sports.